Welcome back to Tabletop Vibes. Today, we are taking a look at Lore by Campfire Games.
Yeah.
Adam, how'd you like the game?
Okay, one, it is beautiful. The art is fantastic in Lore. And so you're playing as archetypes, traveling on a 3-day journey across beautiful landscapes, getting treasure, finding relics, fighting monsters.
Completing quests.
Completing quests, right? And so, I mean, it's beautiful. It plays 1 to 5 players.
And what I like about this game, speaking of the player count, this is a spectacular 2-player game. So there's not many out there that I can say that. Usually, you know, kind of 2-player falls down a little bit. This is fantastic with 2-player.
There's no hindrance in the 2-player variant of the game and how he plays. I think we were like 3 to 4 points off from each other at the end, which I won. Finally, anyways. So so you take your character, you can play as a knight, wizard,
enchantress.
Yeah, the boards are dual or triple layer boards, and they're double-sided so that you can pick.
Right, so I think there's 8 different characters I think you can play.
And so you all start off with certain stats. You have green, blue, and red stats, and each, depending on what character you pick, starts at a higher level, lower level. And that's the first setup of the game.
Right, and the Renown tracker.
And you have Renown, which is victory points in a sense.
So, kind of the basic structure of the game, you have 3 different phases that you're going to be doing. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing a possible event card draw.
There's a lot of may. You
you
may do this, you may do that, which I appreciate.
So you're going to do an event card draw, so there's some conditions on that. Then you're going to do a movement. Movement's very easy. It's a may. And there's 3 different locations on the board, and you just move to an adjacent one. And again, you know, it kind of depends where you want to go, depending on what you want to do. That's the movement. That's it. Then the third action is you take one of the 4 action cards that are face up, and they have different abilities on them. You take that action card, you play it, and that's the basic premise of the game. It's the basic mechanical structure is
solid. Easy. And then even like with the actions, there's a cost, like highest cost, and it goes down to free. And then when you take one, it filters down the line. And then those are the 4 actions. You can go for treasure. You can quest. You can fight. And you can go buy at the market.
You got the market. You could do a lore, which is kind of cool.
The lore cards are really, I mean, the game's called Lore, and the lore cards are really cool.
So basically with the lore cards, how it works is you're going to take that action, you're going to put out a face down lore card. And you don't actually have to do anything to put it down or to complete it. It's just the fact of putting it down. If you take a second lore action, you can then flip that card up. And a different person can complete that lore part.
And you share points.
And so you share points because you claim ownership of that lore card. But there's also some sort of passive benefit that happens.
For the table.
So it could be at the table. And one of them, I know at least the one that I got, was it hampers him and doesn't hurt me. So there is a little bit of it depends who flips over the card.
Jason flipped over one, and it gives all my battles and duels to the monster +1. Super for me.
Exactly. So you also have, like I said, the quests, and how the quest cards are constructed is when you take a quest card, you will gain a little benefit in the upper right-hand corner. So it could be move your stats up.
Don't forget to take it.
Don't.
I forgot to take it so many times.
It can be take an ability. It can be take money, which are gems. It can be take renown.
Or up your traits. Because all your traits, you can get +1 to certain traits, move 2 different traits.
And then to complete the quest, so we're on the topic of quests, there's little symbols that correspond, just happens to be the action symbols. And when you take the action symbol, you put a little cube that specifies, yes, I completed this, you got to complete from left to right. And then once you get to the end, if it's a non-monster card, you complete the quest. If it's a monster card, then you have to go and duel that monster to try to defeat it.
And then if you have to go duel the end game, like monster on the card, he could be really hard. I mean, they're talking like 20 strength, 22 strength, 24 strength. The cool part, which could be a little frustrating at sometimes, is you have red, green, and blue traits. You can have your red trait really high, your blue trait's really low, and your green trait somewhere in the middle. Well, you don't get to choose what trait you're going to apply to the battle. You have to roll the die. It's a little bit of luck, and that's the trait you're using for your battle. As well as you're doing kind of the same thing for the monster. You roll the monster die, which is the same, just a black die. And you blue, green, or yellow. Red. Yellow is Renown. And then you are basing his strength off of that. And then depending on the aura that he has, he could get more strength, and so can you. And that's how battle works.
And I thought the battle system was really clever.
And it's clean.
It's very clean, and it prevents that whole idea of somebody building up one trait really powerful, then leveraging that to just fight monster after monster after monster. So it really kind of creates a little bit of RNG here. Again, more balancing. I mean, I would say this is just balanced to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, they really did a lot with that combat system to make it, really clean. Really like that.
And then on top of that, if you have active action cards,
yep.
You can then, however many you have that are active, which depends on where you are on the board. So there's like trying to move to align those things.
Yep.
You can then, there's a multiplier on how much strength you can get.
Right. So on the board itself, in addition to those locations on the board, you also have places that are illuminated and places that are not illuminated. Right. That corresponds to the traits that you have.
Like passive abilities, fight when you fight abilities, there's all these different cards.
So when fighting, you take the active abilities, you multiply it, whatever trait, one of the three that you've rolled, you multiply them together, and that's your base combat plus other small abilities. But you also toggled a little bit on the auras.
Yeah, auras.
There's a lot with the auras on this. That is really good.
And so I was the knight, and my aura was dusk and evening. Dusk and evening, I believe. And so when you go to battle, if I'm battling in the location where my aura is at, I can add 3 strength to my knight. And I also got a card that gave me 6 strength.
And or was it the time of day?
Time of day is when you do event cards. If the time of day aligns with where you are playing at on the board,
that's right.
For its aura, you can draw an event card, which is, like we were talking about, could be really super helpful.
Yep.
Or it could be super not. But then Jason got a card to let him take 2 event cards and choose the better one, or whichever he wants.
The R will also help you when you're going treasure hunting. That's another.
Yeah, you get to roll 2 treasure dice instead of 1.
But this is where you get the majority of your gems.
Yes, those are currency.
Yes, currency, very important. Need very money important to do things. So there's there. And then I think the last action we forgot about was the companions.
You can get companions. Yeah, they're helpful. I had a unicorn.
Yeah, I had I think I had a bunny.
Yeah, there was like a night cat at one point.
That was a
night cat.
That's right, a night cat.
He was cool.
Yeah,
and they're all color coded too, like red. My unicorn was red traits. If I had enough red traits, I gained this strength. I think yours was also red. There's some for if you have this many green traits, then you get to either get the standard 2 or you can get 4. Which again, you're trying to bolster to be able to go slay the main quests, right?
So that's kind of the basic mechanics, but all this comes together and really how you chain all this together.
Yeah.
So we sort of figured out towards the end, the basic is, I take an action, that's kind of it. But if you have abilities that allow you to do other things, and then when you complete quests, you get rewards on there, and all this sort of chains together. So this
even when you don't win against a monster, you still get a benefit, which is helpful.
Right.
You lose gems or renown, but you then move your lowest trait up 1, which is again helpful for the next battle.
Right, and also to complete these quests, you fulfill that requirement. Let's say that combat requirement, regardless if you won or not. So you're always making forward progress on this. The other kind of neat little mechanic that I found here was in the event cards, there's companion?
Yeah, companion. Like, they have a handshake.
Yeah. So I thought this was really clever by the creator. I didn't really understand it at first, but more we played, kind of get this.
It's more as you see more of the cards, you understand how it works.
So the idea is that when your opponent does something, then you're going to play one of these event companion cards.
It's like triggered. Usually,
not always, you might call bad ones on me, but usually it's going to help the other person, and then you get some small benefit from it. And at first I thought, I don't understand that. Why would you ever do that? And then when I realized, this doesn't really work too well in a 2-player game, but more than a 2-player game, it does 2 things. One, it helps balance the game so you don't have, let's say, 2 people running away and then one person's so far behind and they're bored and oh man, I'm never gonna get caught up. So it kind of gives this natural balance to the game. The other thing is because you gain that small benefit, really you're gonna choose, okay, somebody's gonna get a bigger benefit. I wanna make sure I pick the person who's not in the lead to do that. So again, this more balancing effect with the companions. I really like that.
And you also have like active abilities that you can use that like trigger, like when you give someone this, you can take this. So if you have a bunch of those, giving other people abilities, you're just gaining more stuff for yourself. So it's another cool aspect of the game. Right. So because there's only one winner, but you are kind of helping each other a little bit as you go along. It is a quest, and you're, you got friends sometimes. Yeah. Friends until you don't need them anymore. Yeah, frenemies. Yeah, it's fine. And so again, it's 3 days you're playing, right? And so you're essentially get 12 turns.
12 turns is relatively quick.
Yeah.
It needs to be that length though, because you're going to get too powerful.
Right. And that's the other thing that's kind of cool we were talking about is that you don't have time to like become like God mode, right? Like, which is great because it forces you to step out and go for quests that you might not want to go for to try, and at the same time, it makes you focused on what you need to do to combo correctly.
Right, and I also felt that when you were battling, you always just won.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't this
like barely
out of the way. Yeah,
like I think mine was my highest I got was like 26.
Yes, but that was some special bonuses.
With some special bonuses, and the monster was like 23.
Yeah.
Like barely.
Yeah. And monsters get stronger each day.
Day 1 monsters, day 2 monsters, and day 3 monsters. Yeah. And then there's also these bonus cards that depend on who has the most gems, who has killed the most monsters, who
and game points.
The quest, that you get these cards that can help also give more points.
Right. And if that wasn't enough, there's also what was that little card? The relics.
You got the
I got one relic.
1 in 6 chance on the treasure die.
When you're digging for treasure, sometimes you dig in the right spot and you get a shiny little scepter or something.
Yeah, yours was cool. I'll give you like 5 points.
Right, so it gives you straight points at the end of the game, or the one I had, you discard it, and it bumped up one of my trackers 3 different ticks.
Yeah.
So, so like I said, a lot of stuff here. Really enjoyed the game. A lot of fun.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
And the art, again, like I said, it's amazing. I love the art. It's a beautiful game. Yeah, definitely check them out. Thanks for watching We're Tabletop Vibes. Like, subscribe, and comment. If you were on a quest, who would you be, and would you bring a friend? Jason?
I would be an air elemental to get it done quickly, and no, I'm not gonna bring anybody.
I'd be a knight.
I'm not bringing anybody. All by myself.
I'm going solo too.
That's right. All the glory for myself.
Exactly. And we're Tabletop Vibes.